Hello and welcome to another episode of Ask Cheeky. I'm Isaiah Henkel with Cheeky Scientist, and today's question comes from Jan Z. What do you do when a hiring manager asks you your preferred salary? It's a great question, Jan. Thank you for asking it. It's a question that a lot of people should ask before they get there, right? Because if you get a phone screen and a hiring manager calls you, one of the questions they're very likely to ask you is, what is your salary range? You've probably, if you've uploaded resumes online, you'll see that even the job postings or the form pages where you upload your resumes will ask you what's your preferred salary. And a lot of them will require you to put in a number. Now, if you're uploading a resume, we always recommend that you put in 0 or star if it'll allow you to. Otherwise, put in a range if it allows you to. If it doesn't allow you to do that, then just do some research on what is the average in that particular state or country and put in the average. But again, you should be getting referrals first and handing your resume on to somebody directly. And this will lead to phone screens and interviews much more quickly. So if you do get on a phone screen, you're talking to a hiring manager, maybe it's even by email, but usually it happens over the phone during a phone screen, and they'll ask you, what salary are you hoping to get? Or they'll ask you, what's your current salary? Now, the reason they ask you this is because they want to anchor you very low, very early on in the process. If you're getting a phone screen, it means that you've risen above a lot of other candidates. For most positions, especially for medium to large companies, for every 500 people that apply, only a handful, 4, 5, 6 will get a phone screen. So if you are getting a phone screen, congratulations. It means they're serious about hiring you. Now on that phone screen though, they are going to try to anchor you really low by asking you what you make currently. Very likely they know you're an academic, so they know you're on a stipend or a fellowship making a measly amount, right? Maybe it's 20,000 or 40,000, whatever it might be. The best strategy here is to make sure that you draw a strong line and make a distinction between a salary and a fellowship. And the easiest way to do this is to say, well, I don't get a salary. I'm still in academia. I haven't worked in industry yet. And they might say, well, okay, well, what's your stipend or what's your fellowship? And then I would break it down into what you get paid monthly. And I would phrase it as a reimbursement, which essentially it is. It's a reimbursement for the government for your work, whether it's in the lab or whatever, for your teaching and so forth. So you'd say, well, I get reimbursed for my laboratory work, or I get reimbursed from the government $2,000 a month before taxes, or $1,600 a month after taxes, right? So what you want to do is you essentially want to reverse anchor them, make it seem so different from what an actual salary is that it doesn't allow them to anchor you when salary negotiations come up later. So it's really important that you do this. Make it clear that they're comparing apples and oranges. You don't get a salary. You're not on an industry salary. You're getting a stipend or a fellowship, right? Or you're on some sort of grant. It's something from the government reimbursing you for your work or helping sustain your work. That's the best way to phrase it. And usually that will shut down the conversation right there. If they really push you to name a salary, just keep talking about the fact that you haven't worked in industry. A phrase that we really recommend that you use is, any reasonable offer will be considered. And sometimes you'll have to say that 3 or 4 times in 3 or 4 different ways. That's okay. Just keep saying, I haven't worked in industry yet, or I have limited experience with this role. So any reasonable offer will be considered. If they get very aggressive and push you, number one, that's good because it's better for you to understand how aggressive they are, what kind of company they are in advance before working for them. Number two, you can always just give a range, a salary range. But for this reason, it's very important for you to research salary ranges for that particular job title in that particular location before getting on a phone screen. So hopefully this helps you. Until next time, remember your value as a PhD and start thinking and acting like a successful industry professional.